What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Average Bob, and in today's video I want to talk about the running back season for the New York Giants in 2023. First up, let's talk about our boy Saquon Barkley, who played in 14 games last season, had 247 carries for a shade under 1,000 yards at 962, averaging almost 4 yards a carry with 3.9, longest of 36. And 6 total touchdowns, 2 fumbles lost. Saquon is really the crucial point of this offense, and it's interesting to see that he was able to play in 14 out of 17 games, because if you think back in time, right, he did take over in week 2 versus the Cardinals when the Giants needed a much needed win, and with that, he got hurt at the end of that game and was supposed to miss a significant amount of time and only missed 1 or 2 weeks before he was able to come back. And a lot of the offense obviously goes through Saquon. When they can get him going in the rushing attack, it opens up the play action, which was very helpful for Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, and Tyrod Taylor. The stats speak for themselves too when you look at Daniel Jones's stats as a quarterback, or his wins and losses as a quarterback, when Saquon is or isn't playing. And obviously when you're losing, when Saquon Barkley's lost for some games, it really changes how teams can attack the Giants. And even for the most part, when teams are game planning against the Giants, they are game planning to stop Saquon Barkley. There's no one really in this offense currently that would be, scare you, right? You look around some of the other best teams in the league, and they have 3, 4, 5 different options. If you're playing in the AFC or NFC championship game this weekend, you're probably pretty stacked. The Giants don't really have that person who's striking fear into the hearts of their opponents outside of Saquon. Saquon really is the heart and soul of this team if you think about it at the end of the day. And last year he was coming off getting that franchise tag. What's going to be interesting moving forward for Saquon is if the Giants are able to tag him again, or if they will sign him to a long-term deal. There's a lot of pros and cons about both of these things. I'll probably do a video about that a little later on, and I do want to keep this more to this season. So with that being said, I would love to see Saquon come back, just because he is someone who is a game-changing generational athlete when healthy. But that is the biggest part and question mark for him, is his health and durability throughout a 17-week season, which really is for anyone when you think about it. 17 games is kind of insane, and I cannot believe that the NFL Players Union actually approved that, just for the owners to get more money. And then, as we could see in week 17, it's very, very meaningless games for the most part that were occurring. Next up at running back 2 is Matt Breida, who had 150 rushing yards this season for 2.7 average, and his one lone touchdown did come against that 49ers primetime game. Matt Breida really wasn't a factor in this offense at all, especially when Saquon was out. I thought he would do a little bit more from a receiving standpoint. He finished the season with about 88 total yards, and I figured they would have tried to get him moving out of the backfield a little bit, but that's the problem with Giants running back 2s, especially the smaller ones. When you think about it, the last few years, going back for quite some time now, they've brought in certain shifty smaller guys who should fit that mold, or what they were able to do previously before the Giants signed them. I'm looking at a guy like Shane Vereen, for example. They bring these guys in that have pass catching backgrounds and can help take a little bit of a load off the RB1, and they don't really have or find success. So I don't want to blame Matt Breida necessarily for that lack of success, because no one else was able to replicate that. And with the Giants' poor offensive line play on the passing plays, but also the rushing attack not opening up holes, it really is on Saquon to make something out of nothing every single time he really gets the ball for the most part. Up next, we had Gary Brightwell, who they did put in a couple different games, played in 7 games, 9 carries for 19 yards. I believe Gary is a second-year guy, so it'll be interesting to see how he evolves. And then also the final one was Eric Gray, who was a rookie out of Oklahoma. There's always hype when you draft guys, and it is funny to see how it actually works out in real time, where Eric Gray kind of got a little over his head, where they had to use him in special teams, and then they put him as a punt returner. and he wasn't really able to do that successfully. I don't know if he did return punts, but that was a major issue for the Giants. And then at one point they tried to throw him back there and he couldn't do it. Next thing you know, you throw a random Gunnar Olszewski back there and he houses one for a punt return for a touchdown. Anyway, so I think the Giants need a lot of work to do in the running back room outside of Saquon. They faced sort of an uphill battle from this position the last few years. And when Saquon can't play, there is no one in that room that steps up at any point. It's going to be really interesting to see how the future shakes out. If Saquon does come back, do you want to pair him with, because he's getting older in age, right? So, and he clearly can't make it through 17-game seasons. So, like, why wouldn't you try and trade for or pick someone off the scrap heap who might be a little bit older as well, but still has some gas in the tank, right? And I think those guys do exist, and you don't have to pay them much, right? Running backs are a position that don't command high contracts, and if you do, you could sign them probably for a couple $1 million for one season, which will probably be worth it in my eyes to have a good RB2 that you could actually put in and have more of a balance in the offense, instead of just having Saquon as the bell cow and every single team's game planning against us. Anyway, let me know how you guys think the Giants running backs fared in 2023 and what you want to see as we move into 2024. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day.